Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and this series where we're following week by week my progress of becoming a YouTuber. So in this episode, the same as all the others, we're going to be covering four main topics. Number one is going to be coming up with ideas. So I'm going to help you through some of the processes and thinking around coming up with ideas for videos. So for number two, I'm going to go through why I've ordered a new camera for my recording setup. So the drivers behind that and why I'm going to move away from recording on my phone. For number three, you should definitely stick around. I'm going to share with you my main tip for improving the speed of editing. I think this has probably improved the speed that I edit my videos by 5 times. So definitely stick around for that one. And number four, I'm going to take you through my weekly insights. So that is how many subscribers I have, my views, my reach, just give you any insights that I have had over the week and any tips and tricks that I've found whilst releasing videos on YouTube. So with that said, let's get into number one, which is coming up with video ideas. My first piece of advice for coming up with ideas is always have a notebook handy or some kind of note-taking device that when an idea comes into your mind, you're instantly making sure that you note that idea down. I can't tell you how many times when I was starting out in the first week that I had ideas that I didn't note down. Some of them I think I've forgotten. Start thinking about whether or not you can record some B-roll for videos. So if it's really late at night and I know that I can't record any kind of audio, then I'll normally look through the list of video ideas that I have and figure out whether or not I can record some B-roll. And I've actually got quite a lot of B-roll now stocked up on my external hard drive so that when I do come to filming those videos, I can just go back and get that B-roll and add that in on my final edit. So that's definitely something you should consider doing as well. And that leads quite nicely into the next point, which is whenever you kind of buy something or you do something that you think might be a good future video, just get out your phone and record it. So I bought a product from my iPad Pro called Paperlike. And what it is, it's a sheet that sits over the top of the screen, almost like a screen protector, but it's got a kind of like matte finish that means that when you use the iPad Pro pencil, it actually feels like paper, which is really useful when I'm doing kind of sketching and I'm sketching out ideas. Because one of the things I find with the Apple Pencil and the screen as it is that it's quite slippy and it means the quality of the sketching isn't particularly good. So I was super excited when the Paperlike arrived and I just wanted to get it straight onto my iPad. But I actually took the time to set up a quick little recording to make sure that I captured the footage of me getting the Paperlike, installing it on the iPad. So now I have that footage, I can actually use that in a future video, which I'm going to do, which is the review of the Paperlike. So look out for that video. But it's just a great example actually that you should be recording little snippets like this whenever possible. It makes your future editing actually a lot easier if you already have B-roll set up. Next tip in coming up with your videos is actually to string video ideas together. So using Paperlike as an example, what I do is video my initial impressions, setting it up, how it feels, how to use it. But then I'd also book in, say, a 6-month review where I'd also cover, okay, using Paperlike for 6 months. So how it's held up over time, how it has been using it, whether or not I'd recommend that product to other people. So there, I've already got 2 videos out of 1 product. And to be honest, you can go a lot further depending on the type of product. So Paperlike probably wouldn't stretch to more than 2 videos, but for something like a car, so a Tesla for example, you could do multiple videos of that one product. A TV you could do multiple videos of. There's so many different products that you could do multiple videos of. So once you have an idea, think about what other things about that product or about that idea would be useful for people like yourself to know and start stringing those ideas together. And really you actually start to get quite a lot of ideas stacked up and quite a lot of future videos. Okay, on to the next section for this episode, and this is upgrades. So as I mentioned before, I'm planning to upgrade my setup with a new camera. At the moment I'm filming on my iPhone XS Max and that's been great. I introduced it in the previous video. It's easy to set up, easy to record. Using AirDrop to drop the footage onto my Mac is super simple. So it's been fantastic and I've done 4 videos with the phone already. My main problem is, and this was highlighted in my previous video, is I actually wasn't anticipating using my iPhone for anything strenuous like massive amounts of video recording in 4K. So I went for a lower capacity iPhone in terms of storage. Now in my last video, if you watch that, you'll see that at the very end it actually runs out of storage and I lost some of my videos. So that was a real issue for me and I want to try and avoid that in the future. I think if I had an iPhone 12 or just a bigger capacity phone, I probably would have held out for a while before upgrading my camera, but I think right now is probably the perfect time to upgrade, to really start to take these videos to the next level. The other reason for upgrading is that I've actually come to the end of my Final Cut Pro free trial. I had 14 days, I've done 4 videos on that, and I'm pretty proud that I managed to deliver that many videos in that time. So now that trial's up and I have to pay for the product, I've decided that I really have to start doubling down on this as something that I want to do, I want to spend time on, I want to spend money getting into and really take this seriously. So to do that, I've decided that in addition to having to pay for Final Cut Pro now, I'm going to go big for getting a proper camera for my primary recording device. I'm still going to use the phone quite a lot for recording, but it's just more going to be for B-roll, walking around. It's obviously a lot more flexible than carrying a big camera around. Not that the camera that I'm going for is particularly big, but you can always get your phone out, like I say, and take some footage, whereas you might not always have your camera with you. So I still recommend, if you're starting out on YouTube, to use your camera phone where possible. You don't have to invest in a camera straight away. I really feel you need to test the waters without fronting up too much money at the beginning, just to see if it's something for you. Obviously, now that I have to pay for Final Cut Pro, I think that that's the tipping point for me in really investing in this a bit more. So the final reason is that I really want to improve the quality of the videos that I produce, and I believe that having money and actually being able to purchase equipment is what I would call my unfair advantage. So just to elaborate on that, what is unfair advantage? So this is actually explained really well in this fantastic book from Ash Ali and Hassan Kuba, which goes into what the unfair advantage is and how that you should capitalize on that. So for me, for example, I have a full-time job, but compared to, say, a student that doesn't have a full-time job, there will be a difference in the advantages that we have. I, for example, have more disposable income than a student would have, but a student maybe has more time than I have. So those are two different advantages, and the idea behind the unfair advantage is that you should identify those and then try and capitalize on that advantage and make that a benefit for you. So I'm doing that in terms of purchasing equipment and upping the production value of the videos that I create. But say a student that maybe can't do that, that will then just record on their phone, but maybe they're able to record more videos than I'm able to. So at the moment, for example, I can really only record in the mornings, and then I do my editing late at night because I have a full-time job. I have a family that I need to take care of, and so between the kind of the hours of 7 and let's say 8, I can't really do any videoing or anything like that because I have other responsibilities, whereas maybe a student doesn't have those responsibilities, or maybe just doesn't have those every day. So my responsibilities are every day without fail, like 7 days a week. But I have disposable income as my unfair advantage, so I can actually utilize that by improving the production value of my videos. So maybe I'll have less videos less often, but I'll have higher quality videos. That's the theory anyway, but obviously there are other aspects to that as well, like the skill in editing and things like that. But again, you know, I can pay for courses or I can pay for Skillshare to learn more of those techniques, whereas a student might have to just learn those through other means. So if you're interested in reading Unfair Advantage, I'll drop a description in the link below and you can go and check that out. It's a fantastic read and I definitely recommend it for someone who's starting out on a YouTube career, or actually anything in life where you are starting out something and you're trying to get inspiration, you're trying to understand yourself, how you fit into these things and how you can get better value and really accelerate any initiative that you're doing. Okay, on to this week's deep dive, and this is about speeding up your editing process. I honestly believe that this has probably improved my editing speed by about 5 times, and it's something that I learned from a guy called Ali on Skillshare about editing in Final Cut Pro, but actually this will work in any editing software that you use. And the key is super simple, and I'm going to show you right now exactly how you do it. You ready? Okay, so how does clapping improve my editing process, and how does clapping improve the editing speed? So no matter how good you are, no matter how many years you've been recording videos, you cannot talk for 40 minutes or even 14 or even 4 minutes straight without making some kind of error, especially because you put quite a lot of pressure on yourself when you're recording video, so you want to make sure that things are absolutely perfect. The process is that as you record, every time that you make a mistake, you clap, and then you start again from before you made the mistake. Now, how does this help? So when you're actually in the editing process, you'll see the audio waveform. Once you've synced your video and your audio together, you'll see the audio waveform. And when you clap, you actually see a huge spike in that waveform. So when you're actually looking at this in the editor, you can actually see that between this spike and this spike, I know that actually all of this is rubbish footage that I've made a mistake and I've tried to re-record that again. And you end up just kind of like bookmarking and skipping between different claps or different spikes in the audio. I know it might not make much sense now, but let's have a look at me going through the editing process and you'll see what I mean. So there it is. You can see that I'm using the spikes in the audio waveform to skip ahead to understand where the next kind of like chapters or bookmarks are in my recording to make sure that I'm not using valuable time looking at unusable footage. Trust me, this is going to save you so much time. Going through and scrolling hours of footage in Final Cut Pro or any editing software is going to take you a hell of a lot of time. So start doing this, get used to it. It's going to save you so much time. On to my favorite part of the episode, which is the weekly insights. So this week I've actually not released a video, so this will be the only video that I release this week. So I'm aiming with the 4 videos that I had before, including last week's episode. And actually I've had a fantastic week, and with those 4 videos alone I've reached 15,000 views now, which is insane. I did not expect that I would be reaching that many views within the first couple of weeks of being on YouTube. Those views are mainly down to the invisible wireless charger video that I did, and that has done really well, so I'm quite happy with that. My overall watch time is 10 hours. I don't really have a benchmark for how many hours I should have for 15,000 views, but 10 seems great to me. So on to probably one of the most important numbers of the week, and that is subscribers. And I actually have now 4 subscribers, so I've gained subscribers since last week, and I'm really happy about that. So my main learning for this week is probably quite similar to last week in a sense that it really does come down to the trends in the market that drive your success of different videos. So I've got 2 videos that basically aren't really doing anything. They've got about 20 views between them. So my desk review's got about 600, 700 reviews, and my wireless charger video is pushing kind of 800, 900. 2 videos doing really well, 2 videos not doing so well, and so my learnings for that is really that's what the trend in the market is right now. But as I mentioned in the previous episode, it really isn't about your early videos. You've just got to get content out there. And so this week coming, I'm going to be releasing 2 more videos. My goal is that by September, I'm going to go up to 20 videos, and then I might start batch producing videos, which is something that I've also learned, and I might touch in next week's episode. So that's it. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to learn more about YouTube, or if you want to learn more about tech, fatherhood, all these other topics. Then I'm going to be releasing weekly videos, probably 2 a week. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.